News Talk 610 AM and 102.1 FM. KVNU.
KVNU News Time is 4:05. I'm Bill Walter with this news update brought to you by U&I Furniture. A 23-year-old former Utah State football player has been sentenced to jail for entering several on-campus dorm rooms and sexually assaulting a female student a year ago. Ismail, or Izzy Kalani Viafo'u, was ordered to serve 7 months in jail. Court records show Viafo'u was sentenced Tuesday in First District Court. He previously accepted a plea deal, pleading guilty to 2 counts of forcible sex abuse and 1 count of burglary, all second-degree felonies. On April 18th, 2021, USU police officers were called to the Living Learning Center dorms on a report that Viafo'u had entered several bedrooms. He was a resident in the dormitory and reportedly intoxicated. A woman told officers she woke up and found Viafo'u laying in her bed next to her in only his underwear. He was groping and molesting her until she pushed him and told him to get out. Another woman said she was awakened by the sounds of doors opening and closing. Viafo'u then entered her room and started walking towards her bed before she told him to leave. Other residents told police they witnessed Viafo'u entering 2 other rooms temporarily. They also said they could detect an odor of alcohol coming from the defendant. When police questioned Viafo'u, he admitted to entering the woman's room, stating he had taken off his clothes and got into bed with one of the victims. He also confessed to touching the woman inappropriately over her clothing. During Tuesday's sentencing, Judge Angela Fonsbeck ordered Viafo'u to serve 210 days in jail without credit for time he has already served. The defendant was also ordered to serve 48 months probation and to register as a sex offender. Viafo'u played his freshman year for the Aggies in 2020 and earned All-State honors during his senior year at Highland High School. He was released from the team and banned from campus at the time of being arrested. KVNU News Time is 4:07. KVNU weather for tonight, mostly clear, low in the mid-50s, and then sunny, hot again tomorrow, mid-90s for the high. It's been to 95. It's 94 right now at KVNU. Make your appointment at Logan Dental Associates with Dr. Brandon Preby, Dr. Paul Harris, Curtis Taylor, or Anthony Larson. Or if it's more convenient, visit them at their Cherry Creek Dental office in Richmond.
It's a busy time of year with a change of seasons from summer to fall. And with kids back in school, check out U&I Furniture student desks and chairs to give them a dedicated place to study. If you want a better night's sleep, U&I can help you. They feature the full line of Maloof and therapeutic mattresses, from inner spring to hybrid to the popular foam mattresses, including gel-infused memory foam. And if you sleep hot, have U&I show you the copper memory foam mattress that'll keep you cool. Helping furnish your home for over 90 years. There's always a better buy at U&I Furniture, downtown Logan.
KVNU News Time is 4:08. The Logan Ranger District of the Uinta-Wasatch Cache National Forest plans to conduct a fuel reduction habitat restoration project at the Mahogany Ridge area near Hardware Wildlife Management Area. Masako Wright of the Ogden-Logan Forest Service District Office said the project area contains crucial winter and summer habitat for greater sage grouse, mule deer, elk, and moose. The project treatments will help restore resilient, fire-adapted ecosystems on a landscape scale. The restoration will move across boundaries by moving the watershed toward properly functioning condition in terms of species diversity and density for healthy habitats. The Forest Service intends to aerial seed native grass, forb, and shrub species and eliminate some of the juniper trees on about 1,012 acres at Mahogany Ridge area near Hardware Wildlife Management Area. The project will begin sometime Tuesday, between Tuesday, September 6th, and Saturday, September 10th. They are using an Idaho subcontractor with a small airplane to aerially seed the project area. And it looks like no injuries as firefighters yesterday called to help rescue 2 stranded window washers at USU. The 2 employees were using a boom truck to clean outside windows of the John M. Huntsman School of Business building. Logan City Battalion Chief Josh Francis said the boom truck broke a hydraulic line, leaving the window washer stuck on the side of the building. Firefighters used their ladder truck to reach the cleaners and pull them out of the baskets. Francis said it was a pretty simple mission. Took only about 5 minutes once they arrived on scene. KBNU News Time is 4:10. For more details on these and other stories, visit CashValleyDaily.com.
Local news and the best talk. News Talk KVNU, 610 AM and 102.1 FM.
Hi, my name is Chad Mangum from Aegis Home Health and Hospice. For the last 21 years, I've been providing nursing services to the community of Cache, Box Elder, and Rich counties. Aegis represents the breastplate of Zeus and is symbolic of being a protector of the community. At Aegis Healthcare, we know you will experience the difference. With our core values of character, experience, and trust, we know that we can meet any of your healthcare needs wherever you call home. Call us today at 723-9000 or check us out at myaegis.com.
Cache Valley is growing. If you're new to the area or here for school, you should pick up a free copy of the Best of Northern Utah magazine. That's where you'll find the area's top businesses, voted on by our local community. Any service or product you might need, you'll find it in the Best of Northern Utah magazine. Pickup locations are throughout Cache Valley. For a location near you, visit bestofnorthernutah.com. Our local businesses are the heart of our community, so please support all of our business community by shopping local.
Best of Northern Utah.
This is how we do every day. We be grinding, and if you want to come and text us,
if you love them enough to turn off your music and pretend like their music is your music.
This is Mommy's jam.
Then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Let's play it again.
Check today at nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
At Movember, we're best known for the mustache. Well, here's the thing. Men's health deserves support year-round, which is why we're more than a month, more than mustaches. All year round, we're doing more. We're delivering more research, more treatments, doing more to help men live happier, healthier, longer lives. But we need your support, because the more we can do, the more fathers, brothers, partners, sons we can protect. Movember, more than a month. Give monthly at Movember.com.
Papa, why can't we telegraph while riding a horse?
Son, there ain't no one to blame but Jeffro. He was riding old Betsy the Stallion, tip-tapping away at his telegraph, when blam! Ran right into the side of the saloon.
Well, if Jeffro can't do it, neither should you. Don't text and drive.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
I was in the hospital with my son for 18 months.
When he got injured, I wasn't prepared, but I knew I had to be strong.
When I was told about John's injury, I was in complete shock. I just remember rushing into his room and giving him a big hug and letting him know I was there.
These veterans and families are just a few of the heroes we serve at Homes for Our Troops. For thousands of severely injured veterans, everyday life is filled with barriers.
It was really the little things throughout the house. Counters that you can't roll up to. I had to drag my wheelchair down steps.
I want to help, but he is so determined.
At Homes for Our Troops, we build specially adapted custom homes with features like wheelchair access, roll-in showers, and automatic door openers that allow them to function independently and focus on their recovery and family.
This house is freedom. It's hope. It's a new beginning.
This house has given me my family back.
To learn more, visit hfotusa.org.
Hi, I'm news correspondent Bob Woodruff. In 2006, a roadside bomb struck the armored vehicle I was riding in while reporting from Iraq. I sustained a life-threatening traumatic brain injury. The military term, "got your six," means I have your back. And that day, our service members had mine. During my recovery, I learned firsthand the challenges facing our service members who return home with injuries. While serving, their fellow service members always had their six. Now that they're home, it is our turn. We started the Bob Woodruff Foundation to make sure that the camaraderie and support they relied on in the military carries on, and we need you. Please join us as part of the Got Your Six initiative and help us be there for impacted veteran service members and their families. They've had our backs. It's time we have theirs. Learn more at gotyoursix.org. That's gotyoursix.org. Using the number 6.
For the people.
We are waiting with bated breath for news from the Cash Republican Party meeting an executive committee tonight
With Jason Williams.
And I'm really excited about this next segment. We have two guests here in studio. We're going to talk about something that we've talked about many times here on the show, but from a bit of a different angle.
Weekday afternoons from 4 till 6 on News Talk KVNU, 610 a.m. and 102 FM.
Welcome to KVNU's For the People. I'm Jason Williams. Bill Walter here in the studio as well. 753-5868. If you'd like to join us, be a part of the show during anything we're about to discuss, you're welcome to chime in. Coming up, our good friend Troy Lamb, development specialist at the Utah Department of Workforce Services, will be joining us. The state is hosting a statewide virtual job fair tomorrow. 75,000 job listings in Utah right now, full and part-time positions, in everything from construction to healthcare to e-commerce to retail, government jobs, even aerospace. I found a couple of aerospace jobs on there, Bill. Maybe you and I should apply and change careers and go to space instead.
Yeah, why not? I'm sure they'd take us.
Honestly, just astounding. I know it's stressing employers out, but 75,000 job openings right now and an unemployment rate statewide in the 2s. It's just such a noteworthy environment right now. And it's a great environment for employees, honestly. Employers, some of them a bit stressed, having a hard time filling positions. And sadly, this has shuttered the doors of businesses, even here in Cache Valley already. Not many, but some. There are also, nationwide, very popular, well-known, doing just great before the pandemic, fast food chains are even struggling. People not wanting to go back into that line of work. And so fast food chains have had to step up the game in supporting their, the people who lease the rights to operate a chain location. They are having to get support from, the umbrella, the parent companies, to stay afloat in some cases. I was just reading about that happening quite a bit, actually, in Colorado. So it's just such a weird, different than we're used to environment out there. So the state, in response to that, is hosting a virtual job fair tomorrow, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., and this will happen online at jobs.utah.gov. More than 100 different employers are going to be a part of this event in various presentations and more. 75,000 job openings will be up for grabs. And what's unique about this, though, there is a focus on remote work, on telework. It was a goal set by Governor Herbert. Governor Cox has taken it and kind of expanded on it some. But the goal is to get, about 30% of the workforce of the state to be people working remotely for two reasons. One, it saves on traffic congestion and pollution in the air. The fewer people out there driving to work every day. It more important to Governor Cox has been, well, I shouldn't say that. He's never said it's more important, but I would say a primary focus of Governor Cox is actually on bringing more jobs to rural areas. A way he said the state can do that for their part is to open things up and make it easier for someone in, say, Rich County to have a job with the Utah Department of Technology Services, for example, or the Utah Department of Health, or the governor's office. The governor's office itself has hired some remote work for some of the clerical work that's necessary in the office. A lot of that can be done online. Everything's digital now, mostly. And so a lot of the clerical work can actually, filing and cataloging and record keeping for transparency laws and all that. A lot of that can be done remotely as people go in and tag things at websites now rather than, actually print and file them in boxes. So it does open up a lot of opportunities. The question I've had for a long time now is, how's that going? Are a lot of people taking jobs in Rich County with the state? And then also the goal here is to inspire private industry to follow suit. The governor said, they're hoping this will also encourage private industry to look for opportunities. And at the time, one of the examples given is you have a construction company that would normally have an office somewhere, and they would hire a couple of people to be in that office doing paperwork. The purchase orders, the invoicing, tax preparation once a year or every quarter. It basically it's enough to keep, even at a small construction company, at least 2 people very busy. But do they need to be driving to that office every day? Do you need to even have met them? But I was curious at the time when we had that discussion with the governor if that would actually become a thing. Would we see? It's just one example. There are thousands of others you could choose, but the one I'm choosing is that small construction company. Will they be inspired to hire a remote office manager? Maybe it's a construction company that never has a public face other than contracting jobs, buying supplies, paying employees, and all the paperwork that comes along with that. They really only have an office because they needed a place for the 2 office workers to sit. What if the 2 office workers didn't have to sit there? What if they could sit somewhere else and still do the same work for you remotely? It's an opportunity for even, again, a small construction company as one example. But would it happen? The governor said at the time in that interview with me, I hope so. That was a few years ago. So we're finally going to get an opportunity today to talk about it and actually go through the data. So using the virtual job fair starting at 10 a.m. tomorrow morning at jobs.utah.gov and running till 1 p.m. There's a free event. All you have to do is register, which I would recommend doing in advance because you do have to create an account. They recommend if you're actually going to be applying for jobs and not just looking out of curiosity of what's out there, they recommend you upload a photo and a resume. So register today so you're ready for this. About 9:45 a.m. tomorrow, the login will open for the job fair, and it will start at 10 a.m., and it's going to be interesting. But we'll have an opportunity to talk about the trends we're seeing, not just with remote work, but work in general as we bounce back fully from the pandemic. A lot of changes that we saw kick in with the pandemic didn't unchange. The workforce is a bit different now. It's affecting some industries a lot more severely than others. We'll talk about it all. Our good friend Troy Lamb of the Department of Workforce Services joining us at the start of the second hour of today's show. We'll be back with more of KVNU's For the People right after this.
The Young Automotive Group is proud to announce Young Truck and Trailer Center in Cache Valley. Whether it's heavy equipment trailers, horse trailers, race car trailers, or cargo and utility trailers, we're excited to offer some of the finest trailers and flatbed work trucks to Cache Valley. Our team of experts look forward to helping you find the right truck or trailer to fit your needs, with competitive prices offered on every make and model for sale on our lot. With our extensive inventory, you'll find the best deals right here in Cache Valley. Young Truck and Trailer Center, just off Highway 89 in Logan. Think young, drive young.
Don't let concerns about today's events derail your long-term financial strategy. Edward Jones Financial Advisors can help work with you to understand today's financial landscape and how to be positioned for the long term. Edward Jones can give you the tools for a reasoned, disciplined approach to investing. Get started by calling one of the 7 Edward Jones locations in Cache Valley. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
I'm Larry Gelwicks, the Getaway Guru. Join me on The Travel Show every Saturday at 11 a.m., and I'll tell you where to go and how to get there with the best travel deals on the planet, including how to travel more and pay less, free this and free that promotions, and insider secrets on what the airlines, cruise lines, and hotels don't want you to know, along with your call-in travel questions every Saturday, 11 a.m., right here on News Talk 610 KVNU.
Coming up on the Thursday edition of the Clay Travis and Buck Sexton Show, the last days of summer and the last days before, it is all about the midterms, my friends. We'll break down for you the latest major battles, the polling, all of it. Plus, Clay, a great guest.
Yeah, Dr. Oz. Look, the battle with John Fetterman has gone into overdrive here a couple of months out. Fetterman won't debate. What's the latest from Oz? We'll discuss. Clay and Buck Show, Thursday edition. Come hang.
10 to 1 on News Talk KVNU, 102 FM at 610 AM.
Welcome back to KVN News for the People. Following some, he'll be with us tomorrow, so we'll give him a chance to weigh in himself. But I'm following some of the reaction to our friend Charlie's review of The Little Mermaid online here. It's interesting. People aren't happy with Charlie for his review. You can read it now at cachevalleydaily.com. And Charlie's a friend, so I'm obviously biased here. And he's a good writer, so I'm obviously biased that way. He's also spent a lifetime in theater, producing and also promoting theater in the military and more. I personally thought his review of The Little Mermaid was kind, considering that it's, he's been very clear here on the show that he's not a huge fan of this specific Disney production. It's not for him, but also that he, that it's one that he feels can be done very poorly, easily. But in his review, he actually points that that's not the case with the currently running production of The Little Mermaid here in Cache Valley. In fact, he described it as a production with, quote, boundless enthusiasm, which he said was fun. But people are having a lot of opinions online about his review, and that's why he writes them too. He loves, to stir up discussion a little bit. But he said in the review, he talks a little bit about the show running on Broadway and why they decided to put this production together specifically through the Cache Theater Company. He talks about the costumes. He gives a big thumbs up, and that the set itself was fun to see too. But his one big criticism is he said that it's another problem with the show's underwater setting, and the story about aquatic characters requires gliding movements, and he wasn't a fan of the Cache Theater Company's decision to put the main characters in skate shoes. He says that's been done to death. He was hoping they would try a different approach. That's really the only mean thing he said, but man, people are going after him online here. He can handle it, though. Check it out if you want to see some of the commentary online. Charlie's review is at cachevalleydaily.com, and again, he'll be with us tomorrow here on the show. But he's getting it from the parents and involved, or who know people who are involved, saying he was a little harsh on them. I don't know. You can decide for yourself. Charlie's a nice guy, though. Trust me. It's let me make sure. Yeah, tickets still available. I'll post a link on our Facebook page for those interested, and we'll be talking more theater tomorrow on the show when Charlie joins us at 4. So this is totally not anything that anyone really is going to care about, but I'm going to talk about it for a second because I'm not what you'd call, I don't know about you, Bill, I'm not what you call a food experimenter. I rarely, do you ever go to a restaurant and just intentionally order something different?
No,
I don't do that.
I get, I get really, what's the word, confused or just brain fog. If I see so many things on the menu, it's just like, it stresses me out. It's just like, oh, what do I want? Do I want this? Or, I love simple menus. Very
with
simple.
Like 5 things on them. And
yeah. I love that.
You would love, I just tried this place in, now I'm forgetting the name. It's in Ogden. It's by Pep Boys at the end of Riverdale there, just after the viaduct. And it's something chicken. I'll have to Google it. Anyway, they have one thing on the menu. That's it. You have.
So you stand there, wonder what I'll have.
You have 6 choices. You can have 2 strips, 3 strips, 4 strips, or 6 strips, or you can have a chicken sandwich, and then you can have fries and coleslaw, or double fries and no coleslaw. That's it. That's their menu, and I think it's actually kind of cool. And I can't believe I can't remember the name because it's a famous chain that just opened. There on Riverdale Road. Anyway,
is it?
I'm just the kind of person that has
Raising Cane. Raising Cane.
Yeah, that's what it's called. It's there's a plug for them. Drive down.
I think it's the first one in Utah, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, and it's good. It really is. But I don't know if I would drive down just for that. If you're down there, stop by Raising Cane. There, just past the overpass there on Riverdale Road. By Pep Boys. It's worth your time. But yeah, one thing on the menu, very easy to order there. I'm the kind of person that I don't mind a complicated menu, but if I've been to a place before, I have 3 or 4 things I know I like, and I tend to order one of those 3 or 4 things.
Yeah,
or,
me too.
There are some places, I'll be honest, I won't mention names, but there are some places where there's one thing. And if I'm going there, it's usually not by choice, and it's the one thing I like there. But it is because I've tried other things. So I'm not like absolutely against experimenting, but I've never gone in and sat down and intentionally tried something new. But some health experts writing at this is a sub-blog of The Atlantic magazine. It's called Civil Eats, but it says you should. Now, this is for everyone, not just. It's really good, apparently, for diabetics to do this, but it's recommended by doctors, many of them writing here in this article, by everyone. And so you've all heard of meal planning, but which is good. In fact, if I don't meal plan, I eat horrible. I'll bet I put on 10 pounds in the weeks where I don't have time to meal plan. Because you have a tendency when you're meal planning to also think about what it is you're eating, so you eat a bit healthier. And so you're more conscious of like, well, maybe, I had pasta 4 times this week. Maybe I won't. Maybe I'll have a salad the 5th night. So you can plan a little bit. And so meal planning helps that way. But one of the problems with meal planning, the doctors are writing here, I've linked to this, by the way, on our Facebook page through Civil Eats. This is, again, a sub-magazine of The Atlantic magazine. And one of the problems with meal planning, doctors believe, nutritionists believe, is that you get into these habits. So do you do meal planning at all?
We have started doing that now because my wife is trying to change her diet and trying to stay away from anything gluten and
so the meal
preservatives and that sort
that.
Of thing. Yeah,
sure. But
because otherwise you just run and grab what's easy.
Well, so one of the risks they're talking about here with meal planning is that you tend to get into a rut. And you tend to, without realizing it, you're eating the same things, and in some cases on the same days every week. And so I got thinking about this as I read it and realized I kind of do this. Now, I cut myself some slack because my meal planning, I'm lazy. So my meal planning a lot of times is, well, I'll put these baby carrots in a bag with a little thing of ranch and then a light sandwich to go with it or something for my lunch. And so I've got the carrots there, a lot of fiber, it's healthy, light sandwich. And so, but then I'll do that every lunch for 2 weeks. and then
you swear off light sandwiches and carrots for 2 years because of that.
Well, and that's exactly what they're talking about. They're saying if you get in, meal planning is really important. But if you get into too much of a habit, you'll actually burn yourself out on some of the easier to think of, the go-to things that are healthy, and you'll replace them with something else, maybe not so healthy. But this is interesting to me. They also said one of the biggest risks is you're actually running the risk of, while eating very healthy from a carbs or a calories or a weight loss perspective, you're very healthy on that front. You can actually unintentionally cause yourself to be malnourished. Basically not getting the right kinds of, or the necessary kinds of, and this, of course, can be offset by multivitamins and some other things, but it's more effective if you're eating it. And so these physicians and nutritionists writing today at Civil Eats have laid out a way. Well, it's pretty simple. Here's what they suggest. And I have tried this, so I'll tell you how I tried it in a second and how that went. Hopefully this doesn't discourage everyone, but so what they recommend is that you intentionally take. So for you, Bill, let's say, just as an example, let's say you're meal planning for tomorrow night, for Thursday night.
Okay.
You would intentionally try something you've never done before. Intentionally, and especially if you're like I say, if you've had pasta 3 nights this week already, make it something salad oriented. But you go out of your way to do something to so if you're going to make a salad, for example, you do something you've never done before. Put some kind of cheese on it you've never put on it before. Some kind of lettuce you don't normally buy. The darker lettuce is the better. They also talk about that. But you just throw something brand new into the mix that you've never tried before that isn't really a staple of your diet or your cupboards at home or anything like that.
Chickpeas, for example.
Yeah, just
throw some chickpeas
randomly throw something new in there. They said the benefit to this is that if you do this long term, you're making your intake more eclectic without sacrificing your health. You're still meal planning. You're still planning light, hopefully, if you're bothering to meal plan. But if you throw something new in, something you don't normally try, something you don't normally have at home in the cupboards, intentionally at least 1 or 2 times a week, throw something absolutely out of the ordinary for you in, you can actually offset this with that one meal. You can offset the risk of malnutrition, of basically pumping your body full of healthy things in a meal planning lifestyle, but then getting into a rut to where you're just eating the same things because they're the same things you like, and then you even start eating them on the same day, and you're not getting enough of the variety that you need in your diet. So it's an amazing thing. The title of the article is Eat What You Love, Love What You Eat, and Do It a Fun Way. Don't let meal planning become a bore or a chore is the subtitle here. It's interesting. I'd never thought about this. So diabetics will tell you meal planning is key for them. It is absolutely necessary to properly manage blood sugar levels. But I'd never thought about the risk of meal planning, which is getting into a rut, eating the same things on the same days every week until you either burn out on them and throw the donuts back into the mix, or or run the risk of, because sometimes what we prefer is not always going to be the best for us. So even though you're meal planning, keeping portions under control and all the things you're supposed to do, maybe you, like me, are a pasta fiend. And so, I mean, there's more pasta in my average week than probably should be, especially left up to my own devices. Just pick a day and every meal that day, offset it with something you don't normally eat and something a little more vegetable based. You can basically correct for the entire week. Yeah, interesting stuff. Check it out. Ruts and Meal Planning is the title of the post on our Facebook page, with a link to the Civil Eats story beneath it. And we'll be back with more. Oh, I didn't tell everyone. So my little experiment. I'm currently drinking. I like these drinkable yogurts.
Yeah, I've had those. Those are good.
They're great. It's usually more of a breakfast thing for me, but this one, it's pretty good for you. Half a cup of fruit and veggies, a lot of protein, a lot of vitamins. Strawberry, carrot, and beet flavored. So this was I've never tried that. I'm throwing that in after reading that article. It's interesting. I don't know that there will be. I don't know there will be a lot of the strawberry, carrot, and beet flavored yogurt in my diet, but this one time it's been fun to try, at least.
An occasional thing.
I didn't even know you can buy it, but you can buy it right here in Logan. And beets are good for you. It's an interesting combination. We'll be back after these headlines with KVNU's Bill Walter.
Thank you, Jason. KVNU News Time is 4:38, and the news is brought to you by Whole Tree Care. Firefighters were called to extinguish a semi-truck fire early this morning. The fire was reported around 4:30 a.m. along US 8991 near Michelle Drive. Brigham City Fire Assistant Chief Michael Young said when crews arrived, they found the semi-truck on fire. Flames were spreading from the roadway up the hillside into heavy brush. The semi was pulling a car hauler and had been traveling eastbound toward Sardine Canyon. Young said firefighters initiated a quick attack to extinguish the spreading brush fire. They also extinguished the trailer and its cargo of 6 cars. The fire reportedly damaged 4 of the 6 vehicles, damage estimated at $215,000. Young said there were no injuries reported. Firefighters were assisted by the Willard City Fire Department, Brigham City Police, Perry City Police, Highway Patrol, and Box Elder Communications Center. The community of Provo is coming together to support a family that lost 2 young children. who were hit and killed on their way to school Monday morning. Police said 59-year-old Darren Albertson, who is from Provo, hit the 10 and 9-year-old siblings and also died in the crash. Investigators are still looking into what may have caused him to lose control, hitting the children on the sidewalk as well as two houses. Now a memorial is forming at the corner of 700 North, 800 East in Provo, where the children were hit. People passing by said knowing what happened on the corner is heartbreaking. Provo Mayor Michelle Cafusi said the losses are devastating. A cousin of the children told KUTV the parents moved to Provo from Peru 3 months ago, and they were excited for a fresh new start for their children. Investigators said they are waiting on an official death report from the medical examiner. A GoFundMe page created by community members will help cover funeral expenses for the brother and sister. And a Snow College student was taken into custody after comments during online gaming led to multiple schools being placed on lockdown. According to a statement from the college, schools went into a soft lockdown between 1 and 3 p.m. Monday after the Utah County Sheriff's Office contacted college administrators to report suspicious activity. The Sheriff's Office reported an individual, later identified as 18-year-old Maximus Johnson, had made threats about carrying out an active shooter scenario on an online gaming platform. As a result, schools in Utah, San Pete, and Juab counties took precautionary measures. Utah County Sheriff Sergeant Spencer Cannon said Johnson did not threaten any specific schools, and an investigation pinged the suspect's location in Ephraim. Authorities did not explicitly state the suspect was on campus at Snow College, but the school later confirmed that he was a student. Police took Johnson into custody on suspicion of a Class B misdemeanor threat of terrorism. According to the school, student safety is a top priority for Snow College, and officials did not believe anyone was in danger. KBNU News Time is 4:42.
Man, let's talk about something serious.
I tried the pill. It didn't work.
No, I'm talking about your yard, specifically trees and shrubs. They need your attention. You can't just let them grow unruly and wild, like your beard.
Hey!
Call Hull Tree Care. They have the crew, the experience, and knowledge to trim your trees and shrubs right. Call 760-6587 and ask for their radio discount. Hull Tree Care. That's Hull Tree Care. 760-6587.
KVNU weather for tonight, mostly clear skies, overnight low in the mid-50s, sunny mid-90s tomorrow, mid-90s on Friday. It's been to 95 this afternoon. It's 92 right now at KVNU. KVNU weather brought to you by Mount Logan Laundry, located at 1st East, 7th South in Brigham City, and 5th East, 9th North in Logan. Mount Logan Laundry has free Wi-Fi. For more details on these and other stories, visit CashValleyDaily.com. Let's check Wall Street now with Edward Jones.
This is Rochelle Hanks bringing you the daily financial market report on behalf of financial advisor Tron Arnold and Edward Jones for Wednesday, August 31st. Planned layoffs at major companies have been in the headlines recently, including companies like Snap, Shopify, and Meta, the parent to Facebook. However, recent data has shown the number of job openings in the market is only growing, so the two data points seem to be at odds, as job openings now double the number of job seekers. We think this points to the dislocation between services and durable goods production that has taken place as the economy has reopened. Consumers have quickly shifted spending patterns from durable goods towards services and travel as leisures kicked into high gear for the summer. Work from home and virtual entertainment software companies have also been in lower demand as people have returned to work. Today, U.S. equities closed lower. The Dow closed down 280 points at 31,511. The Nasdaq closed down 67 points at 11,816. And the S&P closed down 31 points at 3,955. And in the bond market, 10-year Treasury yields are trading at 3.17%. In stocks of local interest, Thermo Fisher is down $8.97 to $545.32. Home Depot is down $2.78 to $288.42. Autoliv is down 87 cents to $77.79. Lowe's is down $3.08 to $194.14. Walmart is up 7 cents to $132.55. Nucor is down $2.26 to $132.94. Coca-Cola is down 44 cents to $61.71. Kroger is up 43 cents to $47.94. And General Electric is down $1.69 to $73.44. In commodity markets, the price of crude oil was down $2.52 at $89.12, and the spot price of gold was down $14.90 to $1,721.40. This has been today's Financial Market Report, brought to you on behalf of Edward Jones, member SIPC, and financial advisor Tron Arnold, serving individual investors with personalized attention and financial advice at 1202 South Highway 89 in Logan. If you would like additional information, please contact any of our 7 Edward Jones offices in Logan, Providence, and Smithfield. Daily commentary is also located on our website at edwardjones.com.
Your local radio stations are here for you. No subscriptions or monthly fees necessary. We're here to give you the news, weather, and traffic you need and the music you love. But if the foreign-owned record labels get their way, it could stop the music. They want Congress to force radio stations to pay them more money simply to play their music. Don't let radio go silent. Text LOCAL to 52886 and tell Congress to protect local radio stations. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
Hi, this is Gordon Deal. Thursday on This Morning, America's First News. Have you noticed that some Americans are still self-isolating from COVID or doing things like walking around outside by themselves with a mask? Here's some of the reasoning and whether it's rational behavior. Also, the boss has a response to your quiet quitting. Quiet firing, we'll explain. And sales bargains for the Labor Day weekend shopper. Thursday on This Morning, America's First News. From 4 to 6 on News Talk KVNU, 610 AM and 102 FM. Your station for news and talk.
Great question from the listener. Unplanned, but I read this article this morning from Civil Eats on the quote-unquote risks of meal prep. There aren't really huge risks. It's better to prepare your meals than not, especially if you're like me and kind of eat on the fly. You'll eat better if you're prepping meals as much as you can. And anyone who's a diabetic will tell you it's key for their blood sugar management. Our bodies work, even if you're not a diabetic, our bodies all work in a similar way when it comes to blood sugar. And diabetes is just a change in how your body uses or doesn't insulin, or produces. And so it's the same for the rest of us. Your blood sugar levels, we're not as affected by it as a diabetic person is, but it still happens in your body. And so, planning out, eating at the same time, things like that can really help. But again, this article says the risk is you could make your nutrition poor because we all get into ruts. And so you find yourself eating the same things on the same days. And while we're having that discussion, a listener was listening and during the news shot an email in, actually said, I hear everything you're saying. I understand both the science and the recommendations, health recommendations behind this type of improvement. How does one do this with kids? Specifically referencing the Civil Eats article on avoiding falling into a rut. Listener says, I have kids who have a long list of things they will not touch and a long list of things they will touch, and the two cannot mix. Yeah, I get it. I was that kid. I wasn't like like noteworthy news story level picky, but I was difficult about some things. I still have an aunt that every once in a while still apologizes to me for trying to force me to eat cream of mushroom soup when I was a kid, which I now love as an adult, especially as something to mix in with recipes. I love the flavor, but as a kid, the texture of those mushrooms and the creaminess, the two together just gagged me. I had an aunt that said, nope, that's what I made. She was babysitting. She said, that's what I made. That's what you're going to eat. And I had to sit there until I had a few spoonfuls, and I did not quite make it to the front door before I puked on her carpet.
Oh, my goodness.
And so
she never tried that again.
So I get it with kids, you can only experiment so much, right? But there's some, I think, that you can do, a little bit you can do. But yeah, it is tougher if you're planning meals for the week for the family to experiment. But still, it's a good idea. Maybe you can sneak some things in and just don't tell them about it. Second email from the same listener here, and my husband is no less difficult. Oh man, please give us a call. I want to hear this in person. We won't use your real name, I promise. 753-5868. Our good friend Bill on the line with some helpful tips along these lines. Bill, go ahead.
Well, I really like the article because it does point out one thing. People do get in a rut. I think single people get in a rut more so.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure certain people in this town set their clock by when I show up for coffee at a certain place. The people at the grocery store know that there's 5 pints of Haagen-Dazs bought.
They could probably prep your cart for you before you arrive.
Could be. My particular fondness for a certain Irish wheat beverage, stuff like that. But it really does happen.
Sure.
I mean, I'm the kid who ate everything.
You weren't picky.
Broccoli with liver, yeah, but you still get in a rut, and you make I'll sit there and take a whole prime rib and cook it, and I make only like 3 different things out of that besides that great big slab of tasty beef. That's a half inch thick.
So what do you do to snap out of the ruts? If you've noticed that you're kind of in one dietarily, do you do things?
We're getting to the reason why I call. I find the best thing to do is go eat at a friend's house.
Oh, now that's a good idea.
But so we have a potluck at our church. I do that. I go to the loaves and fishes meal thing occasionally. I had a group of friends up at school that I ate with. One friend made death by garlic, something I don't normally eat. The whole meal had various garlic things. And
oh, wow.
I've even known to eat a little bit of this might offend some people, total vegetarian meal. Done stuff like that.
Did you have to cleanse your palate the next night with steak?
I think I ate a pint of Haagen-Dazs.
That'll do it too.
with some of that Irish liquid libation.
Clean it out.
On it. But I even eat the same 4 flavors of ice cream.
Sure. We all do that, right?
It's really easy to get in a rut. I think more so for single people. It's really hard to make. I mean, I know what they're talking about. I had to go to the doctor because I think that Haagen-Dazs caught up with me. I ate it a pint at a time.
So that you had to shake up the diet a little bit.
I made my meal plan and everything, and it looked good, and we cut back on proportions. I seem to be failing a little bit out.
That's a struggle for me, too.
But it's the same. I eat the same brand of green beans, the same
That's right.
brand of I had the same for years and years. I ate iceberg lettuce.
Yeah.
And that death by garlic girl goes, get rid of that stuff. Hey, here's some dark leafy green. Hey, iceberg lettuce is healthy. What's this green stuff?
That Bill, it's honestly you're hitting the nail on the head here, because that that's exactly what this article is talking about. We have a tendency to, even if we're meal prepping and watching our portions and trying to be, conscious about what we're putting into our bodies, we still fall into these ruts. And we can cause our nutrition to go downhill that way because, as you mentioned, Bill, I buy the same tortillas. I buy the same can of green beans. If I am eating out, I order the same types of things that I know I like at a restaurant. Usually a lot of pasta and too much. But the having an eclectic diet is important too. And so sometimes being super dedicated to the meal prep, and I think you're right, Bill, a single person is probably going to struggle even more. And I love your solution. So here, everybody out there, Bill has just given you cause to either get yourself invited or invite others to have a potluck in your backyard. Invite friends over for dinner, not just as a social outing and an opportunity to be friendly with each other, but also to maybe pick their brains a little bit, see what they bring to the potluck, see what they're making, and maybe throw that into your meal planning for the next week. Bill, appreciate the call. Always great to hear from you. We do have to get to one quick break here, and we have Mitch on the other line. Mitch, hold tight. We'll be back right after this.
Loveland Living Planet Aquarium takes us outside our everyday lives into a world of discovery. It's a chance to explore our innate curiosity, discover animals from around the world, and experience the all-new outdoor plaza and eco. More to explore at Loveland Living Planet Aquarium. Reserve your visit at thelivingplanet.com.
Hi, this is Chris Wilson at Wilson Motor Company. If you're looking for a pre-owned vehicle, now is the time to buy during our Labor Day clearance sales event. We have reduced the prices on over 150 pre-owned vehicles with over 125 4x4 trucks and all-wheel drive vehicles. We can help you find the right vehicle. Check out our inventory online at wilsonmotor.com or drop in for a test drive at one of our 2 great locations.
Wilson Motor Company, we make car buying easy.
Get your cooling fixed, call Gary Riggs. Get your AC fixed, call Gary Riggs. If you're having cooling problems, we're here to get them fixed. Just pick up the phone and call Gary Riggs. 435-512-6633. We'll come to you. Our service fee is low, just $25. We repair all brands and have certified installers. Get your cooling fixed, call Gary Riggs. Get your AC fixed, call Gary Riggs.
Welcome back to KVN News for the People. Just a couple of minutes left in hour 1 of today's show. Troy Lamb, Development Specialist at the Department of Workforce Services, joining us in hour 2 to talk about what the statistics say, the trends we're seeing post-pandemic when it comes to remote work, when it comes to who and what industries are struggling as far as finding employees. We'll talk about it all with Troy. Before we get to that, though, Mitch on the line here talking about the Civil Eats article that says, well, short version, meal prep is great. Really important for your health in general. Will cause you to eat healthier because you're thinking more and thinking ahead about what you're about to put in your body. But you can fall into a rut and start eating the same things over and over and over and actually be dealing with malnutrition at that point, even though you're eating healthy. So some tips on how to shake it up. Bill was on the line there, said, get your friends to invite you over for dinner. It's a great way to introduce something you wouldn't normally buy into your diet. Great idea. Mitch, any ideas from you?
Well, I would take what he said one more step and say you should be getting a hold of all your neighbors and do a once-a-month potluck. But
that's a good idea.
That's a really good way to get difference. But I would also say my meal prep trick is a crock pot.
Oh, yeah. That's
because you can put different things in there, and it takes the same amount of effort. And so
yeah,
try to make something different in the crock pot. Just do a new crock pot recipe every week or something.
That's a good idea. Just to, because then you can, and plus that's easy. For those of us that are lazy, that like to cook, so it looks and tastes fancy, but you didn't have to actually do anything that much. Throw it in a crock pot.
I love my crock pot. That's one of my favorite things. I got a pressure cooker, not an Instant Pot, but the same thing. And a crock pot, and those two things get you so much blow people's mind. That and my air fryer.
Yeah, I like that you're getting creative, Mitch, and that's an excellent idea. Throw the crock pot into the mix at least once a week, and use that as say to yourself, that's the meal that I'm going to experiment with. I'm going to throw something new in there that I don't normally eat. It's fascinating to think of all this. Appreciate our listeners with the tips. Mitch, always good to hear from you. Bill, before Mitch, thanks for calling. Others out there, we can keep this going an hour or two after our guest if you'd like. But for now, I have to step aside for ABC News. Troy Lamb of the Utah Department of Workforce Services will be with us in hour two to tell us the landscape of employment out there. Remote work, underemployment. What is the state of Utah seeing? Find out right after this here on KVNU Logan.